Good morning, everybody. My name's Adrian O'Brien. I'm the VP of Business Development for Midnight Sun Mining. So for anybody that doesn't know the story, I'm going to try and encapsulate it in about 2 minutes for you. What I really want to get into is the latest developments. It has been an incredible 18 months for us. So I'm going to give you the story, but I want to give you some thematic points to really show you what it is we're doing, why we're doing it, where we're working, because this is as special as it gets. Okay, I always like to say, this is the kind of project that we wait our whole career for, and we're marching it ahead very, very quickly. So where we're sitting is the top spot in the world right now for copper exploration. That's Zambia. It's called the Domes region. This is an area that's special for 3 reasons. Number 1, some of the biggest deposits in the world. The average deposit size is 1 billion plus tons. Okay? It's the only copper district in the world that breeds billion-ton deposits as an average. Take that a step further. These deposits aren't 2 kilometers underground like a porphyry deposit you would find at the top of the Andes. These are deposits that are sitting at surface. You develop your tonnage on strike. Maximum depth of 200 meters, mineralization starting right at surface, and in a case like ours, little to no strip ratio. Okay, so the economics are fantastic. This is the place that can make a difference in the looming copper deficit that's hanging on the horizon right now. That's why this is special, and as I'll show you, 75% of their export earnings are copper for a reason. Literally one of the top places on the planet. Number 6 in the world right now, their president is on a push to make it number 2. They want to get there as quick as they can. But this is what you're looking at. This is the Domes region, okay? Right-hand side of the screen, Zambia-Congo copper belt. Right in the middle of this belt, Midnight Sun's property, completely surrounded by the 5 biggest copper deposits in Africa. Every deposit on your screen, with exception of Tenke, is 1 billion plus tons. Average grade across the belt of 0.56% copper. This is as special as it gets. First Quantum's Kansanshi mine, 1 billion tons at 0.66. First Quantum Sentinel mine, billion tons at 0.51. VRIC's Lumwana mine right next door to us, 1.6 billion at 0.52. You guys get the point. This is a special district. But what I want to point out really quickly before we dive into Midnight Sun's project is that dashed line running through the middle of the graphic. That's called the Lobito Corridor. Now, if you haven't heard about the Lobito Corridor yet, I'll give you the rundown. This project was started by Trafigura. That's a rail line backed by the US State Department, and they've put up $350 million to build a rail line that connects every project you see on the screen to a western port in Angola to get this copper source back to the US and Europe. In the last 2 months, China announced a plan to build a competing rail line from the exact same point near Ndola, running east through Tanzania to get that copper back to China. That means there is a geopolitical tug-of-war happening over 4 projects. And what's the 4th project right in the middle of it? Midnight Sun's property. This is ground zero of the M&A activity that's going to be happening for copper to solve that global copper deficit. So really unique position to be in, and the perfect time for us to serve up what we're about to at Dumbwa. So quick story about VRIC's Lumwana mine in the middle. Was acquired for $7.3 billion when copper was $1.50 a pound and it was 900 million tons. This was driven forward by a fellow named Kevin Bonnell. 4 years ago, he turned it into a $1.6 billion ton asset at 0.52% copper, and now copper's at $6. VRIC has the biggest asset in the country. It's a tier 1, it's a world-class deposit, but Kevin quit his job at VRIC and joined Midnight Sun for one reason. Our Dumbwa target has a geological analog to Lumwana, and he believes it might just be bigger. So now we're driving it forward. Kevin took the same approach at Dumbwa that he did at Lumwana. He went in here, found this thing called a copper clearing, which is a pretty extraordinary phenomenon that happens when you have very high-grade copper in soil. Saw the exact same kind of drill intercepts. Those were drilled by First Quantum 20 years ago. He could see the writing on the wall. So he applied the exact same methodology, and that brings us to where we are today and what I'm about to show you. That right-hand side of the screen are the results of a dipole IP survey that we ran in 2024. That gave us a roadmap to 12 kilometers of mineralization. Dumbwa, you can use this slide right here, is 20 kilometers long. That is the largest and highest grade soil anomaly on record in the country. We ran an IP survey over the southern half of that anomaly. That gave us this result which ties everything together. 10,000 geochem samples, 21 drill intercepts showing us that it's there, and now the IP survey giving us the last piece of data so that we can string the entire picture together and have a roadmap to how to drill this thing off. So we went out, let Kevin put his theory into play, and hole number 3 was our discovery hole. You're looking at it right there. The red mineralization shown starts at 6 meters under the surface, runs to a depth of 190 meters in 3 separate intercepts. We had 26 meters of 0.48, 40 meters of 0.51, which included 7 meters of 1.1%. And then we followed that up with another bunch of drill intercepts, 22 meters of 1%, 15 meters of 0.98. And you might be looking at those and going, it's only 25 meters. It's only 30 meters. It's only 40 meters. I want to see 100 meter, 200, 300 meter intercepts like they get at a porphyry. It's not a porphyry. Take a porphyry that's 2 kilometers deep, pull it up to surface, flatten it out like a pancake, and that's what these deposits are. 10 to 30 meters of thickness, but running for 5 or 10 or 20 kilometers. If you're a mining company, you don't want the deposit that's 2 kilometers deep, you want the one that's sitting right at the surface, and in a case like you see at Dumbwa, vertically oriented, meaning that mineralization comes right to surface. These are the ultimate deposits to be developing. So now we've gone forth. We raised $10 million in 2024. We just followed that up with a raise in October of $30 million. So we have $35 million in the bank right now. And we're not drilling this like a typical junior, okay? Very often in our space, you'll see large step outs, a lot of arm waving. We're not doing that. We had enough money to do the job the right way, so we wanted to drill this like a major. We put 5 drill rigs on the ground. We put a grid together that's 100 meter centers, which will take us to resource level density. And we started drilling this the same way a major would, every 100 meters. With 5 drill rigs, that means we're punching a hole every 2 days. We took over the local lab. We're running 24 hours a day just to keep up with the amount of material that we're sending in. So we are pushing this forward as quickly as you'll have ever seen in this business. And that's part of our ethos. We don't want you to sit here for 5 years wondering if we have it. We want to be able to show you that we have it in the next couple of months. Right now, this map came from our first round of drill results, and this is showing you 1.5 kilometers of strike length. Today, we're at closer to 3. We've drilled 130 holes. We've only had assays out for 7. Next round of assays should be coming imminently. We're going to break through the logjam at our lab and then have a cadence of every couple of weeks. And we're going to show the world, step by step, that this is a new tier 1. We fully believe it is. We're in a land of giants. We're surrounded by the biggest deposits. This looks exactly like any of them, only it has more strike length, more size, more scale, and we're going to get it there within 12 months. So this is a methodical, concise drill out that is quick, that is easy, in a jurisdiction that is backing everything we're doing, and it only costs us $160 a meter to do this. So I'll give you some kind of idea of how quickly we can get it there. You're basically looking at a drill hole, as I said, every 2 days, which means that we should hit the 4 kilometer mark within the next couple of weeks. We should hit the 8 kilometer mark by around the end of Q3, and that entire 12 kilometers you see there by the end of the year. We will know just how big Dumbwa is, and if it is the Lumwana analog that we believe it is. At that point, we still have another 9 kilometers to the north to go and drill, and it'll be time to do that. How we're funding it, we just put out a resource on a property called Kaziba, 2.3 million tons at 1.4% copper. That's oxide copper, 100% acid soluble at surface in the first 30 meters. It can be scooped up with an excavator, put through an SXEW circuit, and we, most importantly, can turn that into cash. That's how we're going to fund Dumbwa, with no dilution going forward. That's the plan. We did what we said we would. It only took us 12 months, and now we're going to drive this to the point of cash flow so we can take that cash, put it into Dumbwa, and drive it to the finish line. So that's a Midnight Sun story. Over the last 18 months, we've gone from a $25 million market cap to $370 million, currently sitting at $320 million at about $1.50 a share. So it's been a success story, but just the beginning. Over the next 12 months, we're going to show the world how big Dumbwa really is. Thank you.